Debunking 5 Anti-American Myths Against the Real American People. Myth number 1 is that the discovery of America to the rest of the world is commemorated to celebrate a genocide, invasion, and plunder. The truth is that what is being celebrated is the encountering of land after an arduous and long navigation. To not celebrate this encounter is to reject the mestizaje that followed. If you're a Native American like me, we can attest to the blood-drinking bacchanals that the Protestantized Anglo-Saxons committed against our people, including millions of babies. These satanic Anglophones wickedly used their agents to rename Columbus States into indigenous people states and not its proper name, the day of Hispanicity, or at the very least the day of mestizaje. That is how much the Protestantized Anglo-Saxons despise the Hispanic people, their continental homeland, and Christianity itself, because those three things are a constant reminder of their inferiority, their crimes, and their sins. Myth number 2 is that Hispanics did not discover anything because other Europeans and Native Americans were first. The truth is that different parts of the American continent were discovered by different peoples thousands and thousands of years ago. One of the first, if not the first, Native American waves or settlements were Hispanic ones. One wave of Hispanic immigrants was from the Solutrean Peninsular industry. The Solutrean industry is a chronological period that pertains to a short technological category spanning across almost half of Europe. Though this chronology does not classify the different societies or ethnic groups involved, other research projects highlight two main and opposite branches from this chronological period: the Peninsular and the post-Pyrenees archaeological settlements. The great difference between these groups is fundamentally geographic and genetic. Furthermore, discovery pertains to discovering something for the rest of humanity, and anything that takes away this Hispanic accomplishment is foisted by the satanic forces known as the Protestantized Anglo-Saxons and their degenerate henchmen. Myth number 3 is that Columbus thought he arrived at India because he referred to Native Americans as Indians. The truth is that the historical discoveries of Gabriel, Roca, Moniz, Ruiz show the correct denomination of America as India and Native Americans as Indians. Part of the reason for this confusion is that the term Indies was used differently in the past and had a geographical reason. The historical discoveries of Gabriel, Roca, Moniz, Ruiz demonstrate the existence of 3 Indies and a 4th one after Hispanics discovered America. The pre-Gangetic Indies that extended from Palestine to Pakistan, the infra-Gangetic Indies that was the Indian subcontinent, the post-Gangetic Indies that is Indochina, and then the ultra-Gangetic Indies, which the benevolent and magnanimous Hispanic people discovered. The fact that the Protestantized Anglo-Saxons changed the name of America to the Americas show to humanity their satanic hatred to the rightful owners of the American continent, which incited the Holocaust, also known as the anti-Hispanic Void history. Before the Protestantized Anglo-Saxons slithered and impoverished most of the American continent, there already existed a wealthy people whose generative empire was converting Native Americans into Spaniards. The language of the continent was the Hispanic language called the language of God, Spanish, and the religion of the continent was called the one true religion, Christianity. Myth number 4 is that Hispanics celebrate Columbus Day because they are fascist and want to flaunt their superiority over the rest of Europe, if not the rest of humanity. And that's why we need to change the name of the day to Indigenous Peoples Day. The truth is that the children of the Hispanic Empire do not share the racial complex as certain Anglophonic people. These Anglophones, suffocated in their envy, have expelled Hispanics and impeded them from returning to their ancestral homeland, which extended from Alaska to Patagonia. These same Anglophones behind the genocide of Native Americans and who have been sadistically mocking Hispanics that die crossing the border or meet horrifying injustices are the same Anglophones that use their network of anti-Hispanic Anglophiles to change the day into Indigenous Peoples Day. Since 1493, the Hispanic people have the legal authority and the religious permission to unify the American continent along its inhabitants as their great homeland. Myth number 5 is that Christopher Columbus has the whole credit for the Hispanic discovery of America, and it is in fact an Italian festivity. The truth is that the hatred by the Protestantized Anglo-Saxons against anything that is good or holy is so big that they foisted an outstanding white legend around Columbus, especially in the United States. This propaganda is a holocaust against the evidence that Christopher Columbus became a Spaniard, just like tens of millions of Native Americans, and who swore loyalty to the Hispanic monarchs. This is also a holocaust against the historical documents regarding the invaluable collaboration of the Pinson brothers. This wicked corruption of an Hispanic holiday makes the Hispanic Empire invisible, and the Hispanic people even more. This is why Hispanics will continue to die and suffer as they simply return to certain parts of their ancestral homeland. This is not the first time in which the Protestantized Anglo-Saxons have corrupted words and meanings. One example is how they claim their laws are based on the Roman law. The Protestantized Anglo-Saxons must never claim nor allowed to lie that their laws are based on Roman law. If one wishes to read what real Roman law is like, then the Derecho Indiano is a good place to start. Thank you to all indigenists that helped me translate different materials regarding Columbus Day.